So now you know how to navigate the CLI. Let's check how to do the initial configuration. Basically, we have an initial configuration checklist, and we'll need to configure hostname, banner, management interface, management instance, users, NTP server, DNS server, SSH access, and FTP server. So to configure the hostname, you just enter set system name hostname and your desired hostname. To configure a banner, you can either configure a login banner that will display a message before the user has authenticated, and then MOTD banner that will display a message after the user has authenticated. Each Nokia SR Linux device will have a dedicated management interface. When you first fire it up, you will notice that the management interface is configured as a DHCP client. So in order to add a static IP address, you will first need to delete the DHCP client configuration from that interface, and after that you will need to add a static IP address. Nokia SR Linux is working using network instances, and a network instance is basically a separated environment with its own routing table or MAC table and with its own set of interfaces. And you will also have a management instance that you can use for all your management traffic. Let's jump to the device, and you can see that it already has a hostname configured. And let's check the management interface and the management instance. As you can see, it will have the interfaces added, and it will have a description. The VRF is enabled, and the type is IPVRF, which means that it will handle the IP traffic. It's a good idea first to disable these configuration knobs, and also let's check the management interface. So it will come by default using the DHCP client. So it's a good idea to remove all that configuration. So I will delete first the IPv6 and IPv4 configuration, and I will add my own IP address, 192.168.10.1/24, and I have to add address 192.168.10.1/24. And also it's a good idea to delete the protocols from the management instance. Commit, save, stay. And if you check the management instance, it would look like that, and the management interface would look like that, and it has an IPv4 address configured, which you can use to SSH or to log into device, or maybe configure some monitoring and point to this address. To configure a user, just use the command system AAA authentication user instructor password ABC 123, and you can configure your users as super users. You can also configure the NTP server, the DNS server, and SSH access and FTP server. To have the FTP server initially configured is a good idea, because you will be able to log into the device and copy the tech support files, any core dumps that you might have, or any logs or any other files from your router. Or even you can copy software images and just run a software upgrade from that image. Thank you, and I will see you in the next one.